You're watching the club. The authority for advanced rulings ends a long-standing dilemma for the software industry. The Income Tax Tribunal reinforces transfer pricing norms, and the CBDT provides clarity on the dispute resolution front. Well, lots of acronyms means there's been lots of developments in the world of tax. As Isha Dalal reports, it's a mixed bag of good news and bad. That's right. Three important pieces of news from the world of tax this week. So let me give you the bad news first. Indian companies may no longer be able to give interest-free loans to overseas subsidiaries. That's thanks to a ruling by the Delhi Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. The case involves Pro Systems, which was giving interest-free loans to its associate companies in Bermuda and Hungary for further acquisitions. The Income Tax Appellate Tribunal held that such loans could not be interest-free because borrowing and lending between associated enterprises has to be subject to transfer pricing provisions and hence an arm's length price. In fact, since Bermuda is a tax haven, not charging interest for a loan extended to a company in Bermuda reduces the taxpayer's effective taxable income in India. This ruling means bad news for most of India Inc., which funds acquisitions through overseas subsidiaries.
Companies will be better off if they plan their acquisition in a manner that they do not give interest-free loans to their overseas entity for the purpose of acquisition. What can you do as an alternative? For example, if you have an overseas company which already has a war chest or a cash surplus, the overseas company can go and acquire further companies downstream. So that's one scenario. You keep it away from transfer pricing regulations in India. The second scenario would be if the Indian company were to finance the overseas company by way of equity rather than by way of a loan. So the question of attributing interest does not arise. So whenever the overseas company makes profits, it can choose to declare dividends back into India. So I think that is the second scenario. The third scenario is using a mix of internal funds and external funds. Because external funds by definition are third party and therefore would not warrant transfer pricing attribution.
Meanwhile, there's good news on the dispute resolution front. In last year's budget, Finance Minister Pranab Mukherjee proposed speedier tax dispute resolution through dispute resolution panels or DRPs. Panels that promise an order within 9 months and no upfront payment of tax by the assessee. Now, this week, the Central Board of Direct Taxes has clarified that the regular appellate process, which involves appeal to a single tax commissioner, is still available in addition to the DRP route. A clarification that gives taxpayers more flexibility.
The level of preparation required in the application before the DRP today involves giving all your arguments, all your factual statements, and a whole lot of preparation even at the stage of filing the application itself. Now sometimes what happens is a commissioner has already decided the same issue either in your case or in someone else's case. The issue is relatively simple and can be disposed of with very limited arguments. In such a case, a person will find it is much more informal to go and sit before one commissioner, briefly explain to him why the facts are the same as the earlier case decided by him, and virtually the commissioner will pass a one-line order, one-page order saying, look, these are the facts that are the same as the taxpayer's own earlier case, and the matter gets disposed of in a way much faster than the DRP mechanism.
From dispute resolution to income characterization, there's good news for software companies. Japan-based software manufacturer Dassault Systems was licensing software to end users in India through non-exclusive resellers. It approached the Authority for Advanced Rulings, or AAR, with two questions. Number one, can the income from sale of software products be treated as royalty and hence be subject to 10% withholding tax? And question number two, can this income be held taxable as business income in India? The Authority for Advanced Rulings held that Dassault was selling a copyrighted article and not the copyright itself as per the provisions of the Indian Copyright Act. Hence, the payment could not be characterized as royalty. In addition, since the resellers were non-exclusive distributors, they were not controlled by Dassault and could not be deemed permanent establishments. Therefore, the income could not be taxable as business income either.
This has two impacts. It has an impact on the software industry, on the presumption that the software industry imports software from non-resident software providers. But this is equally applicable to anybody outside the software industry as well. So today, I as a professional professional services firm import software from a non-resident software service provider, then it's equally applicable to me as well.
So here's a quick summary. Loans to subsidiaries can no longer be interest-free. There's more flexibility on the tax dispute resolution front, and income in respect of copyrighted software can no longer be categorized as royalty. In Mumbai, Isha Dalal. Well, that wraps up this edition of The Firm. You can get more on what to expect from Budget 2010 by logging on to our website.